Good evening, Australia. It's Karen Brewer here. I am not a member of any political party, organisation or group. It's just me. And this video is for my Prime Minister, Mr. Scott Morrison. So today you announce $76 million for mental health. Mr. Morrison, we need to have a talk. You see, Mr. Morrison, when people's homes burn down and they've lost all their possessions, what they actually need is a home rebuilt. What they actually need is that home be kitted out with furniture, and whilst they're waiting for that home to be rebuilt and kitted out with furniture, they need immediate accommodation. Accommodation, Mr. Morrison. So let's just talk about that. You house illegal refugees in motels, Mr. Morrison, and our fire victims are getting a one-off $1,000 grant from Centrelink and some kumbaya mental health appointments. Mr. Morrison, you really must believe that the Australian people are completely ignorant. We see who you are, Mr. Morrison. I see very clearly who you are. Mr. Morrison, how many homes can we rebuild for $76 million? Australians are not interested in sitting around with mental health experts having a kumbaya moment. No, we're not interested in that. We're interested in putting probably, $500,000 in each one of those people's hands, and you'll be surprised at how their mind will be eased of worry. They'll be eased, soothed, if you like. They can go about their lives, rebuild their homes, and move forward. Nobody's interested in your kumbaya bullshit excuse for spending and wasting $76 million of Australians. We're not interested in that, Mr. Morrison. So you might want to think over those decisions, because I'm just one Australian who's demonstrating to you how pissed off Australia's getting. And not just with you, Mr. Morrison. No, we're getting pissed off with every government department, local, state and federal. I think the average Joe Australians has just about had enough of you lot. And you might want to start thinking that over, because you keep placing yourself in these precarious situations, Mr. Morrison. You see, fire victims don't want to sit around and have kumbaya moments. They want to get on with their life. They want other people to make it as easy as possible to get on with their life. Mr. Morrison, nobody's buying your bullshit. Nobody. And it's not just you. You've got 226 other federal politicians all going along with this bullshit. Because it's all one network, isn't it, eh? You're all buddies, you're all Freemason, pedophile-loving buddies, referring to Senator Heffernan's video where he exposed all the Freemason filthy filth that you all are. No matter what flavour of politician, And the clock's ticking on that, you see, Mr. Morrison, because every day there's another Australian that becomes aware of parliamentary pedophile protecting suppression orders. Every day there's another Australian that becomes aware of it. And, Australians are a pretty simple lot, really, Mr. Morrison, We don't like injustice. We don't like politicians that protect pedophiles. You all have been doing it for decades, filthy little grubs, but Australians are catching on. We also don't like politicians, and I'm speaking directly to you, Mr. Morrison. Between July and September, you spent over $900,000 just on expenses. This is on top of your over $500,000 wage. So, Mr. Morrison, you might want to rethink that $76 million mental health package, and you might want to turn that into a construction fund, where we're going to give everybody that's lost their home $500,000. If you're struggling to find the money, it's really easy. 227 federal politicians will stand you all down for 12 months without pay and without expenses, by the way. That'll save us a fortune, absolute fortune, because on average, the total spend of the politicians federally is over $400 million. $400 million for a 3-year term of office. So, Mr. Morrison, you can take your mental health package and you can file that where the sun don't shine. Australians aren't going to tolerate this level of bullshit. These people that have lost their homes, they need at least a $500,000 payment. Straight away. No mucking around. No bullshit. I'm not going to tolerate you lot of 227 federal parliamentarians. Useless waste of space, all of you. You should hang your heads in shame. I hope you have a very nervous evening, Mr. Morrison.